Europa Universalis 4 Winds of Change, the last DLC for this game, has been announced, and there's a lot of things that are happening, a lot of changes, a lot of nations that are getting massively revamped, and we'll be discussing all of that today alongside some thoughts that I personally have about the farewell that they're giving out to EU4, as well as why EU5 has not officially been announced yet. Before we continue though, if you're not yet subscribed, do consider subscribing. I'm trying to reach 200,000 subs by the end of this month, and if we manage to get that, I'll be doing a massive mega campaign starting from Imperator Rome all the way to Stellaris. It's like 7 Paradox games altogether. Dargeth's one of the members working on this DLC, is the one that's making the announcement, and it's honestly very impressive. The trailer itself is absolutely amazing. I genuinely love this trailer. It's probably my favorite trailer out of all of them so far, and what this particular patch intends on doing is by far the most ambitious thing. And I also have to say that this is something that I don't think is as much about milking yet another DLC from EU4, which I've seen people say a lot of, especially in the comment section for this particular release trailer. I actually think it's, aside from the marketing perspective of the game, which of course that is always obviously going to be there, but aside from that, I think this is genuinely the work of love of a team of developers that started out as members of the community. Most of the people that worked on this particular DLC originally were modders for EU4, such as Big Boss, who has the Flavor Universalis mod, and a few others that worked on Mayo and Taxis, the expanded timeline mods, and so on. And I have it on good authority that this is genuinely a work of love, a proper goodbye to some of the most iconic nations that EU4 has. And obviously this was done now with the release on the 8th of May, which has been announced, so that afterwards they can officially announce the release of, or better yet, the developing of Europa Universalis 5. Clearly they're not gonna be like, yo, we're developing EU5, but here's another EU4 DLC, because nobody's gonna bother with that. Or at the very least, people are gonna show significantly less interest in EU4 when they find out that EU5 is getting developed. That's why I actually think that EU5 is gonna be announced officially a few months later after this is being released, and either EU5 will be released to itself at the end of the year or next year. More likely it's gonna be next year, considering the current phase of development for EU5. Sorry, for Project Caesar, of course. Clearly there's a lot of changes that are coming in 1.37, and there's a summarize of all of these in this particular dev diary. We're gonna go through it, and I'm gonna give you guys my honest opinion on everything that goes alongside in here. So the topics are gonna be the trailer release date for Winds of Change, our newest expansion for EU4. Whenever I see Winds of Change, I think of the fact that there are some big winds coming our way to change the landscape of Europa Universalis players, namely the new game about to be released afterwards, right? That being said, I also want to point out that I personally think we might have one more mini DLC, maybe a flavor pack or something a little bit smaller in between this one and EU5's release, because EU5 is not going to be coming out for at least 6 months, right? Whether it's this year or next year, it's going to be at least 6 months. So that means that there's enough time to squeeze one more DLC out of EU4 before the release of EU5. Now take note, the 1.37 Inca update, which includes improvements to the base game, has new modding tools, fresh set of portraits for women in North Africa, and a lot of 9 new monuments exclusive for owners of the Leviathan DLC. So if you have the Leviathan DLC, you'll be getting the monuments. If you don't have the DLC, you will not be getting the monuments. They want us to give them some feedback on the trailer from the marketing team. I think this is a 10 out of 10, like actual 10 out of 10. Beautiful graphics, beautiful audio on this video, so great job to the marketing team. You may wonder, what's Wind of Change all about, all in all? As you may have seen in previous dev diaries, we have endeavored to add new content for 3 very different regions of the world. America, Europe, and Central Asia are receiving new flavor in the upcoming DLC. So the main topic is the rise from the ashes of old empires and the creation and the first steps of new ones. As all of this is accompanied by the exploration into new lands, the trade of valuable resources, the defeat of powerful enemies with armies, you're going to be able to face different starting points from a very humble beginning, then overcome almost impossible odds to become a world hegemon. Therefore, to those eagerly anticipating playing the Neo expansion, got great news. It's going to be released on the May 8th. If you pre-purchase our DLC, you will receive a bonus music plaque that includes 3 songs. Let's dive now into the details of the dev diary, starting with a recap of the main features of Wind of Change and a similar approach we took in King of Kings. So the first on the list is the Incas. The patch itself is the Inca patch, Inca update. So obviously Inca is going to play one of the major roles in the upcoming update. update. Main features will be a mission tree with 40 missions in total, 12 for Cusco to unify the region, and then after you form the Incas, 28 missions for the Incan Empire, 1 new government mechanic, the Divine Authority, new government reform, the Andean Empire, 11 new events, additional content such as new decisions, mercenary companies, balancing improvement of the Inti region, and national ideas for the Incas. For those of you that have a short memory, these are the missions that the Cuscoans are getting, and then some of the highlights from those missions, the map itself with all the added claims that you're going to be getting as the Incans, and the ability to colonize some of these lands as well before the arrival of the Europeans. Then the Incan mission tree afterwards gets expanded with a ton more missions and new flavor like the mummified rulers, for example. Then we have the Aztecs, and I honestly don't know why they didn't name this the Aztec patch. Maybe there was an Aztec patch in the past. I don't remember. I think there was one, wasn't there? Because the Aztecs are honestly more of a central figure of this particular update than the Incans are, in my opinion at least. The Aztecs get a mission tree unique to them with 42 missions in total, 1 new government mechanic, the Tonali, 6 new government reforms, 3 privileges, 6 events, new subject type, the Nahuatl tributary, and new content like the new local organizations, the Tepoclip academies, new national ideas, and new types of peace offers. So you can tell from this alone that the Aztecs are getting way more than the Incans are getting in this particular patch. Similarly, the Mayans are also getting a little bit of a revamp, 40 missions for the Mayan tree, 2 new government reforms, the Divine Kingship and the Mayan Confederation. This is the mission tree itself, and these are the government reforms, Divine Kingship and Mayan Confederation. Basically, one of them is going to give you benefits earlier, the other one's going to give you benefits in the long run, in my opinion. You also get the new Obsidian Province modifier and the Yucatan Peninsula and decisions, mercenary companies, updated religious triggers for the Mayan religion, albeit the religion itself pretty much stays the same. And we also have the Sunset Invasion, essentially after you've unified your region, be it the Aztec, Mayan, or Incan region, you can go down the Sunset Invasion path, whereas you have 34 missions in total for all 3 of these nations, aside from whatever missions they have before, right? Focused all of these 34 missions on taking over the old world, so invading the old world. You get 2 new estate privileges, 8 new events, 2 new types of CB, the Sunset Invasion and the Sunrise Invasion CBs. So that means 1 in Asia, 1 in the new world, in the old world. New subject types, the European colonies, so you can colonize Europe now with the Sunset Invasion stuff, or better yet, Europe, Africa, Asia. You can have colonies in those areas if your capital is in the new world. Additional content such as naval doctrines, diplomatic actions, and more. So you can see here the Sunset Invasion CB will give you Casus Belli on Western European continent and Maghreb region, which is going to be 90% cost and 150 prestige, so that's pretty significant actually. And don't forget, you also get the option of going high American tech group and unit type and 10 power projection permanent. So Sunset Invasion achievement is going to be considerably easier with the new patch, that's for sure. Another big change is going to come for the Venetians. This is dearly needed, that's for sure. The Serenissime Republic of Venice has lost the momentum it gained over the last century. The Ottomans have begun to cut off its commercial influence in the Mediterranean, something they cannot afford. They have 52 new missions for the Venetian mission tree, new government, the Council of 10, 2 new government reforms, the Promissione Ducale and merchant representation, 15 new events, and additional new content such as new national ideas for the Golden Republic, which is a nation you can essentially form, as well as a local organization, the Scuola Grande, which is Italian for the Grand School, or actually no, it's Italian for subscribe to Ludi. All my Italian peeps in the comment section can confirm it means subscribe to Ludi. Really, that's what it actually means. This is what the Venetian mission tree looks like. You have all the missions from the beginning. Honestly, I feel like Venice, out of all the nations in 1.37, is getting a ton of flavor. Venice and Netherlands are my personal 2 favorites in this particular update, and I'm going to be covering both of them ASAP, that's for sure. This is also the map color for La Serenissima whenever you form it as the Venetians, the new formable for the Venetians, the Golden Republic better yet, and the new national ideas. Italy, once you form it, be it as Venice or Florence or whoever you want to form it as, also has 46 new missions, 21 new and 25 old ones that have been updated, 3 new estate privileges, 12 new events, 3 new types of CB, the Roman Ambition, Scramble for America, and the Dismantle HRECB, as well as 1 new type of mercenary company, the Lost Legion. This is the Italian mission tree. Obviously, you can pause the video if you want to see any mission in particular. The name pretty much gives away what the missions do, to be fair. There's a lot of missions focused on getting getting permanent claims, a lot of different modifiers. You also have 90% aggressive expansion and 90% war score with the Roman Ambition CB that allows you to essentially attack provinces that used to belong to the Roman Empire. The main theme of Italy is essentially restoring the Roman Empire. So you have two paths. You can choose to go down the restoration of the Roman Empire or choose to not go down that path. If you do go down it, you do get permanent modifiers that will affect your campaign and will make it easier for you to establish the Roman Empire once more. The Netherlands, the Dutch mercantile empire, is awakening. Trade and exploration have never been so profitable under the rule of the Orange family.
Oh, but Ludi, it's pronounced orange.
Shut up, you nerd. A mission tree for the Netherlands will have 64 missions in total, which is freaking huge if you ask me. 4 new government reforms like the 7 provinces or modern economics, 5 new estate privileges, 12 new events, 2 new decisions unite the 2 crowns and overthrow statist stadholders. Remember that the Unite 2 Crowns essentially lets you unify with your junior partner, the British, so you get a PU restoration on the English, and once you enforce that, you will be able to form essentially a union between the Netherlands and the English crown and get the nation called the 2 Crowns. The United 2 Crowns. Wait, what was it called actually? Oh, it was called the United Crown. These are the national ideas for it as well. And there's a lot more for the Netherlands. Like you have the ability to establish unique trade companies over, well, companies really over the Indian subcontinent. And essentially it just makes the Dutch nation become the ultimate playing tool / trade empire by far. The Hungarians are also getting a revamp with the 1.37 DLC. The Magyars dominated different thrones not so far ago. With the Black Army on their side, they will try to reconquer the lost power over their neighbors, so you get 42 missions, 5 new government reforms like the Apostolic Kingdom and Cuman Lancers. 5 new government reforms, actually pretty huge. I didn't realize they get that many. Wow. 2 new estate privileges, the Vegvar system and the Hungarian royal cities, 15 new events, 1 local organization, the Order of the Dragon, which also is going to be available to the Wallachian principalities. That means Moldova, Transylvania, and Wallachia. And you also get the ability to form Australia-Hungary, a nation that nobody asked for, but for some reason is now formable. I think we can all agree that considering that Australia-Hungary is a formable tag, although historically it got formed in the mid-1900s after the game ends, in that case, maybe we should also be getting some more monuments in Germany, okay? Some monuments that even though they were built in the 1800s, maybe we should have them available in the 1400s, okay? And can we get a 5% discipline in the Brandenburg Gate, please? I don't know how I diverge with that, but I'm pissed that the Brandenburg Gate still sucks balls. These are the new Hungarian national ideas, and this is the mission tree itself. I have to say that out of all the Central European nations, Austria, Bohemia, and Hungary right now are going to be the strongest by far. The mission trees that they got in this particular update are just super fun and really good overall, really powerful overall. Hungary gets restoration of union on Poland, on Austria, on Jomama, everybody they get a restoration of union on. They also get some really cool stuff like winning wars against heathens is going to give 10 bonus power projection, fixing the problem with getting power projection in the late game. Hungarians are never going to have that issue, that's for sure. You also can get subjugation on all the electors and the emperor. Just like the Hungarians, the Austrians are getting 53 missions, including 6 branching missions on the legacy of Charlemagne or the German conquest, 3 new government reforms, 9 privileges, 12 events, 2 new decisions, the Iberian wedding and the Habsburg land. The Iberian wedding is honestly one of the most broken things imaginable. To put this into perspective, the Austrians are going to be able to one click and get most of Iberia, and if they play their cards right, they can get all of Iberia with one click. That is a little bit powerful in my opinion. 2 new subject types, core vassal and core personal union, new formable Australia-Hungary again, additional content such as diplomatic actions, mercenaries, imperial incidents, and disasters. They get events like Maximilian the Last Knight, which is an absolute chat, and the trait he has is also unique, the Last Knight trait, which gives cav combat ability, army tradition from battles, which is cool. This is what the mission tree looks like with the 6 branching missions based on whether you want to follow Charlemagne's path or the German path, right? Basically include the French or not, to be more precise. A lot of freaking amazing stuff here, including Settle Australia, which is obviously a reference to the fact that everybody confuses Australia with Austria. It's very easy, guys. guys. Just think about it like this, right? Austria has kangaroos, Australia has camels. It's simple. It's really simple, honestly. Obviously, you get even more CBs, registration of union, etc., etc. Permanent power projection as well. Quite a few of that schnapps going around nowadays with mission trees. The Universal Empire, Imperial Incident. I don't know if that was added to the summary, but it's in there as well. And there you have it, the compromise with the Hungarians. The Hungarian Revolution disaster will end. So you get a new disaster, the Hungarian Revolution, and you finish that disaster by one of the options, I'm assuming, is to change to Austria-Hungary. Might be some other options. Who's to say, right? This is what Australia-Hungary looks like right now. They haven't figured out what the final color is going to be. I think they asked for votes, and either beige or maroon or something like that, and I think beige won, if I'm not mistaken. These are the Australian-Hungarian national ideas, which are pretty good. They're not something amazing, but they're okay, I guess. Bohemia is getting a revamp too, and the revamp is focused on the aftermath of the Hussite Wars and how you want to either embrace Hussite and spread it to the world or punish people that went down the Hussite path. Up to you. You can claim the Emperor's crown by staying in the Catholic Church or claim it by force in the name of the Hussite. New mission tree with 33 new missions, including 6 branching ones to cover different paths for Hussite or Catholic Bohemia. New formable Great Moravia with its own branching mission tree, 9 missions in total. So if you form Great Moravia, which is an ancient Bohemia, and Nitra can form, then you get more missions. 2 new government reforms, the Burgenderbon and the Wagenburg tactic, 1 estate privilege, 10 events, additional content such as decisions, Hussite religion, imperial incidents, and this is what Great Moravia looks like right now. I'm not sure if this is final, but I love the map color. Hope they keep it like this. The flag is pretty cool as well. Germany also is getting a revamp, so once you form Germany, be it as the Prussians, as the Austrians, as whoever you want to form them as, you get 30 missions, 9 are new and 21 are updated old missions that you got from the Emperor DLC. 12 new government reforms. 12 new government reforms? That many? Really? Holy shit. New government mechanic, the cultural unity, which is something that's going to allow you to consolidate the multiple different Germanic cultures into one greater Prussian culture. Let's face it, everyone's going to do it as Prussia. If you don't, you're a freaking heretic and you need to be taken out. Okay, that's the truth right there. 2 new estate privileges, 15 new events, 2 new types of CB, scramble for Africa, and claim a piece. Now you might be wondering, a piece of what? It's a piece of cake, okay? You're going to be attacking people to get cake, clearly. New subject type, the incorporated vassal. This is what the mission tree is going to look like for the Germans after you unify Germany. There's a lot of really awesome stuff like permanent claims on the entire French region if you don't already have it. Permanent power projection, so if you form this as Prussia or you form it as Austria, you already have some permanent power projection from the previous mission trees, so you can get even more permanent power projection now, so you can get like up to 20 something potentially power projection, which is insane. More permanent claims on the Baltic, Carpathia, Scandinavia, the entire regions, by the way. Even permanent claims on the Asian parts to simulate your historical German colonial empire, which consisted of a cake factory in Qingdao. That's about it. They had the cake factory right next to the beer factory. Kind of funny actually that one of the more famous beers in China is Tsingtao, which is from the province of Tsingtao, and it was originally made by the Germans when they got the colony in Tsingtao. Yeah, jokes aside, claim a PCB is on provinces owned by Western or Eastern Tech Group countries in Africa. So if say the British or the Castilians colonized parts of Africa, you get claims on all of those areas that got colonized by the Europeans. And the best part is it's 75% cost and aggressive expansion, so that's pretty cool. Remember that you can also form Germany as Brandenburg by doing the diplomatic path, which I showed how in one of my previous videos a few weeks ago actually now. You can form Germany with admin tech 10, so you can form Germany in 1520s, 1530s, and then you can get all of these mission trees in the 1520s and 30s, which is actually mind-blowing, all these stuff. Permanent claim on the entirety of the Britain region too. Remember, the permanent claim also means less core creation costs when you do get those provinces, so this is actually super cool. And you remember the cultural unity thing. You will be able to integrate all the different cultures into one overarching culture. A little bit of a surprise, but 1.37 is going to have a little bit of a flavor for Hisan Khalifa alongside Hormuz, Oman, Trebizond, and Theodoro. Why, you might be wondering? Well, it's obviously because the previous DLC, they didn't have the time that they needed to finish off all the mission trees that they promised in that DLC. Remember that in that DLC, they promised they're going to revamp Venice, they're going to revamp Netherlands, they're going to revamp Austria. They did it. So they did it in this DLC. Now, why did they rush with the previous DLC? I actually suspect they did that because they were planning to announce EU5 being developed at the start of this year. They didn't announce it. They just said, oh, we have Project Caesar, because number one, they did it so that they can still make one DLC and milk a little bit EU4, and also use the extra time they have to give EU4 a proper goodbye, and also because EU5 is not ready and it's probably behind schedule massively, so they're doing this as a filler DLC and maybe even more DLCs after small flavor pack that I talked about. In any case, Hissen Kaifa is getting 38 missions, which is actually huge, so kinda it's a good thing that they didn't do Hissen Kaifa Hormuz Oman in the previous DLC, because they had more time to do it for this one essentially, right? Because we would have probably got like 6-7 missions with the previous DLC. Now we're getting a full-blown 38 missions, 4 branching missions, either the Conquest or Alliance path to decide the fate of Anatolia and Persia, 1 new government reform, the Ayyubid dynasty, because Hissen Kaifa is the last remnants of the Ayyubids, the dynasty that was started by Salahuddin, the dude that conquered Jerusalem from the Crusaders. Additional content such as a new flag, new cosmetic country name, Ayyubids, and more. This is the mission tree itself. It's actually pretty significant, and this is what it looks like with the Ayyubid name on the map itself. Probably gonna do a couple of Hissen Kaifa streams myself, because it's one of the nations that I really enjoy playing. It has a pretty difficult start, but now with the new mission tree, it's gonna be a lot easier, I assume, since you do get permanent claims on all of your neighboring provinces, which is before you had to just no CB declare on 11th of December. Now you don't need to do that anymore. Hormuz and Oman are getting 36 new missions, 18 shared, 10 unique missions for Hormuz and 8 unique for Oman. New government mechanic, the Arabian trade influence, 1 government reform, 2 estate privileges, Arabian traders and Omani marines, 5 new events, a cosmetic name to the country Zanzibar. Trebizond, the previous Komnenoi family, are getting 20 missions, 2 government reforms, the Empire of Trebizond and Crusader nobility, 6 new events, and a diplomatic action called the Heathen Royal Marriage, which allows, as you would guess, the Trebizondians to marry heathens. At the same time, Theodoro is getting 20 new missions, 4 branching ones, whether you want to choose the Russian alliance or Russian rivalry paths, 3 new government reforms, 2 privileges, 9 events, and you get diplomatic actions for Theodoro, allowing them to request foreign generals. That is a new action only available to Theodoro. That's going to be really cool. And they get the CB, the Gothic invasion, and the country changed to Gothia when they do get the prerequisites done for that. So that's going to help out with the Gothic invasion achievement if you want a gun for that. The hordes are also getting some massive changes. We got 3 new mission trees for the hordes, 54 missions in total, covering the paths of the Tatars, Mogolistan, and the Mongols. 43 are shared missions for all of the hordes, 5 are unique missions for the Tatars, 3 unique for the Mogolians, and 3 unique for the Mongols, plus 6 branching missions where covering the devout, tolerant, and the Confucian paths, new government reform, 9 estate privileges, 10 events, and a new subject type, the Mongol Brother Realm. Suffice to say, the hordes are getting massive buffs, and it's going to be even easier to do world conquest of the hordes. It's actually insane. Mogolistan, in case you're wondering, is actually Chagatai. It is now renamed to Mogolistan. These are the mission trees themselves. They're pretty freaking massive, actually. And you get stuff like every province we own and is part of the Uralic culture will convert to Kazani. So you basically can instantly convert the culture of an entire culture group. Not only that, but you get raising power gain plus 20%, loot plus 15. I mean, come on, bro. This is just so easy now. Again, they didn't mention this in the brief, but Yuan is getting new stuff as well. So keep that in mind. If you go down the Yuan path as Qing or whoever, Yuan is going to have 65 missions as well. So yeah, this DLC is freaking huge, guys. It's actually huge. The Timurids also get a complete revamp. They have 50 missions in total, 2 new government reforms, 6 new estate privileges, 11 events, 1 new type of CB, reconquest of China, additional content such as new decisions, new subject type, the Soyurgal, and this is if you stay as the Timurids, because you always can go Mughals, and the Mughals get another 53 missions in total, 7 events, 6 privileges, and new decisions and mercenary companies, making it insanely easy to conquer India and embracing the heritage of traditions of the Indians. Aside from that, we get a lot more sprites, 30 new sprites for Umbrian, Romagnol, Croatian, Dalmatian, Slovakian, Moldovan. That's awesome. You know, as a Moldovan myself, I'm glad we get represented. Finally, the mighty Moldovans get something, okay? It's Jover. We're going to take everybody out. We're about to take everybody out here. And then you also get 9 new songs. Wait, oh, it's 3 music packs of 3 songs each. I thought it's only 3 songs. Oh, I'm wrong. Up next is actually the reason why I do think this is the proper last DLC. Like I said, there might be a flavor pack, a small flavor pack later down the line, depending on how quickly they put out the EU5. So that's not a guarantee. But when it comes to big changes to the game and actual DLCs, this is guaranteed the freaking last one. Here's why. The first decision we made with the 1.37 Inca update was to take a look at the generic mission trees. Brother, they would not redo the generic mission trees unless this is literally the last DLC, okay? Because they would have milked the shit out of this also in the future. Trust me, they wouldn't otherwise. They wouldn't bother. They have not reworked the entirety of the missions, as some country-specific missions are dependent on their structure, but they did a lot of stuff. So, for example, Kamchad's missions you have here for the Kamchatkan tribes, my dude. Holy shit. Okay. Secondly, they've also updated some rewards such as prestige, army, tradition, mercantilism can be converted to monarch points. 15 different generic or shared mission trees have been updated, including Berber, European, Indian, African, native mission trees. So they almost redid all the generic mission trees in essence. They've also done some cool stuff with the modding bits, so all of you modders can check this out. I'm not going to bother explaining this to everybody. These are the new North American female advisors. Oh wow, that actually looks pretty cool, man. That's really high res actually. Plus we got 9 new great projects. The Golden City in Nitra, which offers -1 interest per annum, and whoa, no shot, dude. Oh, this is ridiculous. This is actually ridiculous. -1 interest per annum without limiting this to at least Slovak culture or something means any country, as long as they take this, they can get -1 interest per annum. 1% loans? Am I hello? You also get the Schönbrunn Palace in Vienna, which gives an extra diplomat, years for personal union integration -5, and chance to inherit personal union, oh, plus 10%. The religion has to be Christian. Oh, dude, this is so great. Holy shit, this is so good. Finally, we get a monument. Oh my god, Austria's gonna be so freaking awesome. I'm gonna do Austria videos ASAP when the DLC comes out. Amsterdam Browse in Amsterdam is gonna give trade company investment reduction, some trade value, and trade steering plus 25. That's pretty strong. They get their trade building upgraded, and they also get the ability to eat one of their political rivals. I may have added that in, but it sounds pretty juicy, doesn't it? Venetian Arsenal is going to give you the ability to recruit Gallia's ships and build them in the provinces of that particular area, plus Gallia's force limit plus 25%. City of Sarai is going to give horde unity, envoy travel time, and friendly movement speed in the provinces of that region. Aleppo City is going to give manpower and defensiveness only in that particular area. The Koja Mausoleum in Kashgar gives 50% religious unity, and this is apparently for everybody. It's not locked to anything. If you rush for the city and you upgrade this monument, you never need to worry about freaking religious unity. Holy shit, that's good. And then you also have the Tsungatagababadubadabadu, which gives Diplo reputation plus 2. Ignore coring distance. What? Oh god. Oh, I can already see. I can smell the exploits. I can actually smell the exploits already. That's about it, guys. Next week they're going to talk about the achievements, and May 8th is when the DLC is coming out. I'm super hyped about this. I hope you guys are too. And don't forget to wishlist the DLC, and don't buy it just yet. Wait until I can give you a special link to buy it with, okay? Remember that. I got a special link for you. Don't buy it just yet, motherfucker. Don't buy it. Don't you do it. Don't forget to also subscribe. Until the next time, banzai! And I want to give a massive thank you to all of my patrons, channel members, and Twitch subscribers. I would not be able to do this without all your support.